Hello, class 6th students. I hope you all are completely fine at home and doing your work regularly. So, the most important thing is to convey you that your science textbooks are available at the bookstore. So, you can go collect your science textbook from the bookstore itself. So, for today's video, we are going to start with chapter 3. Let me tell you that chapter 3 and chapter 4, that is fiber to fabric and sorting material into groups, are in your syllabus as project chapters. So we would be briefly discussing both these chapters and you will find your assignments and holidays homework based on both these chapters. So here we start with chapter 3, that is fiber to fabric.
We shall start with the history of clothing. So, in the prehistoric era, people used barks and big leaves of trees, skin, and fur of animals to protect and cover their bodies. As civilization began to settle in agricultural communities, they began to settle with the clothing industry. Early Indians wore fabrics made of cotton that grew in the Ganga basin, and textile and fashion are a very big industry across the world today. The next topic we're going to study is fibers and its types. So basically, we have natural fibers and synthetic fibers, and natural fibers are further classified as plant fibers and animal fibers. The examples are given below for all the two types of fibers. So basically, different types of fabrics are made from different materials. We will study all about it in this unit. So fabric is prepared from fibers, and fibers are of two types, namely natural and synthetic. So first we have the category of natural fibers, in which we have plant fibers and animal fibers. As the name suggests, natural, so these are obtained from the natural sources such as plants and animals. So the fibers obtained from plants like cotton, flax, jute, etc. are called the plant fibers. And next we have the animal fibers. So fibers which are obtained from the animals like wool and silk are considered as animal fibers. So next we have the synthetic fibers. So as the name indicates, these fibers are man-made and are obtained from chemicals by complex processes. So some examples of synthetic fibers are polyester, nylon, acrylic, rayon, terylene. For thousands of years, natural fibers were the only ones available for making fabric. Synthetic fibers have been made only in the last few hundred years or so. And these fibers are used to make the synthetic clothes. The next topic is weaving of fabric. So as you can see in the diagrammatic representation, fibers are the smallest unit in a fabric. Fibers are spun together to form yarns, which are further woven into fabric. Most plants have fibers. Let me give you one example. Coconut fruit is covered with husk, which is used as fiber. The stems and the leaves of banana plant have hair growth that are made into fibers. Plants like mango and pineapple contain fibers in their fruit. So, the diagram represents the process of arranging two sets of yarn together to make a fabric, and it is called as weaving. Weaving of fabric is done on looms. The looms are hand operated or machine operated. Hand operated looms are called hand looms, and machine operated looms are called power looms. Next, we have the description for cotton. The earliest use of cotton is estimated between 5000 BC to 3000 BC. In India, it has been established that cotton has been in use since 1800 BC. So we shall discuss some key points related to cotton. So firstly, we will talk about its climate. Cotton grows well in areas where it is warm and sunny, with a moderate rainfall distributed over the year. Excessive rainfall can definitely damage the crop. Second point is temperature. So the ideal temperature for the growth of cotton plants is 27 degrees Celsius to 21 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius. Third point that we are going to discuss for cotton is the soil. So black soil is best suited for the cotton cultivation as it can retain moisture. The other type of soil suitable for the growth of cotton plants is alluvial soil. Black soil is mainly found in southern India, whereas alluvial soil is mostly found in the northern parts. Next, we have the production of cotton. So, cotton seeds are basically sown in early spring. Cotton plants grow quite rapidly and take the shape of a bush within 2 months. The flowers are either white or yellow and gradually turn to pink. The fruits are called cotton balls and are of size of a lemon. On maturity, the cotton balls burst open, exposing seeds and cotton fibers. Now, from the balls, cotton is hand-picked and seeds are separated from the fibers. And the process of removing cotton seeds from fibers by combing is called ginning. The fibrous material left after removing the seeds from the cotton balls is called lint. So as you can see in this diagram, cotton ball on the left side, cotton seeds with lint are separated out from the ginned cotton, which is called lint. So basically the process is done through combing and this is called ginning. Next we have the spinning of cotton yarn. So the process of making yarn from fibers is called spinning. Fibers from a mass of cotton wool are drawn out and twisted. This brings the fibers together to make a strong yarn. After cotton, we have some other fibers like jute, wool, and silk. So we would discuss all three fibers one by one with their basic information. So jute is obtained from the stem of jute plant. It is a cheap biodegradable fiber. It grows best in warm and humid climate with a rainfall of over 150 centimeter. The temperature range required for the cultivation of jute is 24 degrees Celsius to 37 degrees Celsius, and the soil that is used is basically alluvial soil. Next we have wool. So wool, as you all know, is obtained from sheep and some other animals like goats, rabbits, etc. The domestication of sheep and other animals for use and the use of wool for making clothes dates back to the ancient civilizations. So wool retains heat and is used to make winter clothing. Next we have silk. So we get silk from cocoons spun by silkworm. So basically it is an animal fiber. Silkworm are reared for the production of silk and this practice is called sericulture. So silkworm basically feed on mulberry leaves. Once they had their fill, silkworm spin silk threads and form a sheet-like structure called cocoon around their bodies. So silkworms change into pupa and then cocoons are boiled to kill pupa and get silk fiber. So the leading producer of silk is China and the second leading producer of silk is India. So this was about the brief introduction to chapter 3, fiber to fabric.